in 6 when the legislature gave COLAs, the last one being in 6, we never gave the money to RSA. We just instructed RSA to pay it, and their unfunded liability dropped from the 90% down to the low 50s, and it's back now in the 60, mid-60s, higher 60 range due to the stock market increase, due to employees, retirees in that era that have since passed away, and of course that obligation is going down, and the unfunded liability part as a result is coming up. But this just simply says we have to identify it in the budget and provide the funding there for a COLA on a yearly basis. So if there's not any questions, Mr. Speaker, I ask for the BIR.
Chair recognizes Representative Hall from Madison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. But the gentleman yield.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to say thank you as one of those persons who've been is a part of the retiree system. But more importantly, we've talked about each year this process. We've talked about new teachers or individuals coming into the teaching profession would begin, or there would be a portion of their salaries set aside within a pool of money, you know. Do you remember that conversation?
Well,
somebody gave that conversation.
I think it may have been something when we went back from that, you know, that Tier 2 program, when we went through all that stuff back in the 2010s and 11s. That may have been part of that, but that's not part of this bill.
And that's what I understand. So what we're doing is still at the same point that we are now when we start talking about providing some funding for retirees. We still are having to go back to the system that we're already using. This bill just means that you must identify that we're doing that.
On a yearly basis.
Okay.
You can't just pass a COLA and then all of a sudden forget it, say RSA, pick it up, and they don't have a funding source. It puts the responsibility on us as a legislature each year when we're dealing with our budgets to provide the funds and identify it in the budget.
Right, and I think when we provide the funds, as I read this, I'm assuming this is a yearly process each year, even though we may not give a COLA or give any monies every time, but there would be a designated line item for this.
Well, no, it would be if we gave a COLA one year, that we have to provide the money and identify the next year
where those funds go.
Right.
So where are we in terms of, or do you have any idea, does that idea make any sense of all individuals who are in the teaching profession now or in education now, that as we go through or I understand, or maybe Georgia does this and other systems do this, that money is paid into from the income of those individuals who are within the system while they are working. And then when they retire, that money is then they are able to provide the type of COLAs that may be addressed in there.
I'm not familiar with Georgia's plan, but obviously
I'm not sure it's Georgia, so disregard it's Georgia,
right.
But I've heard this before. So does that make sense, though? I mean,
well, it would make sense that you're providing a funding source.
Yes.
And right. So that's been the quandary that we've been in for the last 15 years, is finding a source.
And I don't see this as providing a source as much as if we still are in the same. We're going to be in the same shape that we're still in.
Right. It just sets up a procedure in case we do find a source, that we just don't come through one year and provide the COLA
right.
and not provide the money the next year to pay for that continuing COLA each year.
And so, you know, the people out there that are not here in the legislature, they don't understand that. They don't feel that. They don't see that. Everything, I will promise you, going out in your district, you will hear from people that are still saying, so they don't understand or they don't see that as thinking of them. So right. I just wanted to know if had we given it a thought, if we're giving it a thought, And I'd like to say that maybe we may want to look at what other, and I'll be happy to start that process in terms of what we would do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Moore of Jefferson. While she's making her way down, the junior leadership class of Lake Martin from Tallapoosa County is here today as a guest of Representative Ed Oliver. Would you please stand to be recognized? Welcome to the Alabama House of Representatives.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative, I liked this bill last year, but I think that it ought to be the stepping stone, as Representative Hall say, when you go out into your community and retirees are saying, we can barely make it off of what we got. I do think it's a stepping stone for us to be more sincere at looking at some type of gaming bill that we can allocate portions of that fund to an investment fund to build up so that we will have a source to be able to provide these COLAs. So, you know, it's a good process bill, but then I would hope that the powers that be would help us by looking again at some type of gaming bill to provide that source so that we could have some funding for them, because they're hurting. And as we look at things being cut in Washington, they're gonna hurt some more. I'm a retiree and I'm a federal retiree. And so, you know, I know we get COLAs every blue moon, but at least we get them sometime. But I just appreciate you continuing to fight to bring the bill up so we have a process to carry it out for them. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Question for the body is adoption of the BIR. The members, clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Have all the members voted? Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 100 yeas, 0 nays. The BIR is adopted.
I move for passage, Mr. Speaker.
Question for the body's final passage of HB 158. The clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Have all the members voted? Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 97 yeas, 2 nays, 4 abstentions. HB 158 passes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House.
Thank you, Mr. Clouse.